Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just want to, get into a quick update as to what's going on over there in LA. We touched on this a day or so ago upon the National Guard descending upon LA. And then, there had been rumors that, Trump would send forth the Marines. And it looks like that's taking place. All right, they descended last night, all right, over in LA. And ultimately, yeah, man, it's Esau being Esau, man. Hey, operating through the sword. This is where he excels. Okay, this is where he shines, man. All right, when he's operating under the guidelines of the sword. All right, and this is something you, Jake, haven't learned. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans haven't learned yet that this man has been blessed with the sword. He wants you to fall into the snare of going to war with him. Okay? Why do you think Revelation 6 says what it says regarding this damn demon taking peace from the earth? All right, he's a war tactician. He's a harbinger of death. All right, there's nothing more pleasing to Esau than being able to bear that sword, which is the modern day gun. And it tells us in Revelation 13, he doesn't bear it in vain. Okay? And at the end of the day, what this is what this is spilling over into is Jacob's trouble, man. We're seeing Jacob's trouble come into fruition, is what we're witnessing. And as the days are old, it's starting with the northern kingdom. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is putting a scopeo on you. You non-repentant, all right, disobedient, openly rebellious northern kingdom, so-called Native American and Latino tribesmen. All right, either repent or get deported. Like a lesson I seen yesterday from the beloved brother. Who made that? Who did that lesson? It slipped my mind. I can't remember who did the lesson. One of the beloved brothers. Can't remember. But needless to say, man, yeah, that's what it is, man. Repent. There ain't no way around it, man. Because it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. You're dealing with the modern day Assyrian, man. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is giving him the green light. All right? To exercise vengeance on you disobedient reprobate Jake. Let's go here. And one might ask, oh, you're here. You're over here talking about your own people. You know what I mean? But here it is. You're here too, and you can fall victim. Yeah, listen to this. Bear with me. My phone's lagging. God damn. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, in verse 7, and it reads, "At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble." You see Jacob talking to who? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. For you new listeners, Jacob, okay, it goes hand in hand with Israel. All right, Jacob's name was changed to Israel back in Genesis, the 32nd chapter, after he wrestled the angel. You see, Jacob's the progenitor of the 12 tribes via his 4 wives, all right, which brought forth his 12 sons, which will consist of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, and speckled birds as well. Israelites that look like the other nations due to the scattering of Deuteronomy 28 and 64. Okay? But notice at the end of this precept it says, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's that talking to? Those that have turned from transgression and Jacob. Let's get it real quick. Isaiah 55. Forgive me. Isaiah 59. In verse 20, and it reads, and the Redeemer, which is Yahushai, shall come to Zion, which is Israel. Okay? Zion in Hebrew is Tazayuan, which means memorial, parched place. It's another name for Jerusalem. All right, when you tap into it. You see? And unto them that turn from transgression and Jacob. See? And them, unto them that turn from transgression and Jacob, saith the Lord. So those are the only ones that are going to be redeemed. The elect. Okay, on this side. All right, the rest of our nation is going to have to come back. All right, as babies in the eon to come. You're not going to take part of that first covenant. I'm sorry, the first resurrection, excuse me. You are going to take part of the second covenant. I meant to say, a slip of the tongue, Salakia. You're gonna, because as it tells us in what's that, Isaiah 45. You got Romans 11. All of Israel is going to be saved. You see, it's just that you're not going to take place. You're not going to take part in that first resurrection. You're not going to get in on the first go around. You see, but you will be born back into the kingdom as babies, and you are going to learn after death by pain on this side. Okay? But you will come into the glory of the second covenant in the eon to come, without a doubt. You know? But you're not going to be delivered from the horrors that are coming on this side. You're going to have to learn after death by pain, man. And you really don't want that. You see? So now we know who that's talking to in Jeremiah 30. As far as that he that's going to be saved out of it. It's those that turn from transgression and Jacob. The rest of you can forget about it. Because you won't stop. You won't repent. You won't turn back. Even though the harbinger of death is on your ass. Now I want to play this clip real quick. Alright, tapping into this new information regarding these 700 Marines that have touched down. Now you got to understand, man, this is echoing martial law. I mean, by definition, martial law has been declared in LA. You know? By definition. You know, and we also know that this dude is operating under what's that term? The Hegelian dialectic agenda, which is pretty much the problem, reaction, solution scheme, which we'll touch on now, Lord willing, as well. And that's how Esau operates in efforts to, you know, sway the masses and, you know, ultimately put favor on his side. So he's able to fulfill his agenda. But anyway, let's play this real quick.
Los Angeles bracing tonight after sweep. Do begin tonight with Los Angeles bracing tonight after sweeping immigration raids sparked protests and clashes tonight. A U.S. official now confirming to ABC News 700 Marines are now on their way to Los Angeles to join California's National Guard, which was deployed by the president, not that state's governor. Late this afternoon, a peaceful protest after the arrest of a union leader, but the city is bracing for nightfall. It was a far different scene over the weekend. Protesters setting up fireworks right there, police officers right nearby. A line of self-driving vehicles set on fire. Crowd shutting down the 101 freeway downtown. LAPD officers trying to move them off. The moment a U.S.-based correspondent from Australia reporting on the protests, you can see there she's hit by an officer's rubber bullet. President Trump going over the governor's head, sending the state's National Guard to the scene, and tonight he's now sending hundreds of these U.S. Marines. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, leading us off tonight on the scene in Los Angeles. Matt is one-on-one with Borders Czar Tom Homan tonight.
Tonight, 700 Marines are on their way to the streets of Los Angeles to assist the National Guard and law enforcement tamp down violent clashes with protesters angry over the Trump administration's immigration policies and arrests. Over the past 72 hours, pockets of LA descending into chaos. Protesters protesters setting cars on fire, dumping bikes and scooters on police cruisers on the highway. Law enforcement firing hundreds of flashbangs and non-lethal projectiles and making dozens of arrests. It got so heated in the streets that a British photographer needed emergency surgery after being struck by a non-lethal projectile.
Moving them on through the...
And there was this moment. Watch as a correspondent for 9 News Australia reporting on the protest when an officer hits her with a rubber pellet. And tonight, an escalating war of words between California Governor Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump. Newsom suing the president for creating the conditions for this chaos when he sidestepped California officials to deploy thousands of National Guard troops.
Are you going to deploy Marines in California?
We hope to have the support of Gavin, because Gavin's the big beneficiary as we straighten out his problems. I mean, his state is a mess.
Newsom then slammed by Trump and border czar Tom Homan for his response to the unrest. Homan initially suggesting the governor should be arrested, something Trump seemed to support just hours ago.
I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job.
Newsom responding again, calling that an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism. I asked Homan about that.
If Gavin Newsom crosses whatever threshold it is and violates the law, do you have the authority to arrest him or
if he broke the laws like any other U.S. citizen, we'll ask the Attorney General to investigate and they'll prosecute.
And I also want to add, a lot of this is theater too. You know, Esau knows how to add, that bread and circus energy, to his drama scheme. So we also got to be aware of that. A lot of this is theater. The dude's and the mayor's gonna sue Trump. Come on, man. Where's that gonna go? Absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. It's a big game. All right, it's a big movie. But ultimately, hey, things are happening and people are getting hurt. But you got the elite behind the scenes controlling this thing. Pulling the strings or what have you. But anyways,
Tom Homan's not going to prosecute.
Spontaneous clashes began Friday as federal agents conducted multiple operations in and around Los Angeles. On Saturday, protests mostly peaceful, larger when agents were seen staging in nearby Paramount, California. And by Sunday, a convoy of heavily armed and camouflaged troops arrived. We watched as the clashes intensified as the day progressed.
Just moments ago, there's some projectiles being thrown. Just moments ago, a motorcycle seemed to try to break through the police skirmish line. And now you can hear all those flashbangs going off. Police are trying to push those protesters back, firing those less than lethals at very close range. And you can see those projectiles being thrown over. Now that motorcyclist being hauled in here. Looks like he's being arrested.
LAPD's chief overnight saying they may need more help.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing.
And thousands today gathering peacefully, calling for the release of a prominent union leader arrested Friday during one of those workplace raids.
A lot of us are American citizens. So then what are we working for? What is the American dream? It doesn't even exist.
Hey, and this is what Jake don't understand. You heard her? What is the American dream? Now you starting to realize there ain't no such thing as no American dream? In the Northern Kingdom, I will say this. You found yourself in a position where you were able to climb the ranks in Babylon. You're able to move under the radar. You were able to move under the radar for a long time. Esau took his foot off your neck for a long time, man. It was really Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that took that pressure off you. Okay, but now reality setting in. You see? Reality setting in now, man. Hey, Esau's going back to his old nature. His true nature, really. You see? And the Lord, all right, it tells us in, what's that, Hosea? I think that's Hosea, the 10th chapter. And he's going to be a lion to Ephraim. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get that. I believe that's Hosea 10. Hold on. 5 and 10 maybe? There's no Hosea 10. Hosea 5. Let me see something real quick. It's not no Hosea 10. It's Hosea 5. Let me see. Yeah, there it goes. Hosea 5:14. And it reads, "For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion." You see? Notice how the Lord always opens up on the northern kingdom first. Alright? Hey, we got kicked out of the land first. Alright, when we were over here in Arsareth, alright, which is America, we got descended upon by these Europeans, the French, the English, the Edomites first, alright, Amalek, you see? And ultimately, as we see real time, in 2025, as we inch closer and closer to salvation, these major prophecies have to come forth in the form of Jacob's trouble. You see the northern kingdom being descended upon first. Why? Because what is then is now. Okay, there's no new thing under the sun. You see that? Let's continue on, but understand when this transitions to the house, to the head of the house, Judah, this is when Jacob's trouble is going to be at its perfection. There ain't gonna be no rubber bullets being shot. Look, Hosea 5:14, it reads, "For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah," man. All right, and a young lion's full of vigor. Right? "I even will tear and go away. I will take away, and none shall rescue him," man. You see that? And this is talking to who? You disobedient, reprobate, openly rebellious, renegade Israelites. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that refuse to get right with your power. You refuse to hearken to the words of the prophets, man, which are bringing the report straight from the throne, man. Okay? The ambassadors of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua giving you the report, giving you the report, man. But as it tells in Isaiah 53, who has believed that report, man? And who was the arm of the Lord revealed? Only the elect. So only the elect is going to hearken and repent and be hid. And be hid, man, in the day of the Lord's anger. Because that's what you just don't understand. In the time that we're coming into, you got to be divinely hid. Okay? You ain't going to be able to escape unless the Lord's dealing with you. There ain't nowhere for you to go. The Lord's going to have to intercept Esau in efforts for you to be delivered. Divine intervention is going to have to take place for you. Yeah, it sounds far-fetched now, but wait until we come into that time in its perfection and you see it happening for the elect and it's not happening for you. Let me play this other clip I got. Hold on. I got another clip right here.
Start tonight with new developments in Los Angeles, where immigration protests have once again prompted a huge law enforcement presence along with a federal response. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. As of tonight, about 1,700 National Guard members are on the ground. President Trump has also authorized sending in another 2,000 Guard members along with 700 active duty Marines. The military says protect federal property and personnel. Meanwhile, the state of California is now suing the administration over the deployment of the National Guard. Tonight, the city's mayor, Karen Bass, questioning why the president saw a need to send the National Guard at all, pointing out they're only guarding two federal buildings, and says local leaders have things under control.
I don't think that our city should be used for an experiment to see what happens in the nation's second largest city. Well, maybe we can do this to other cities.
The mayor says her...
Remember what she just said? She pretty much gave the definition of Hegelian dialectic. Listen to what she said. Let me bring this back.
At all, pointing out they're only guarding two federal buildings, and says local leaders have things under control.
I don't think that our city should be used for an experiment to see what happens in the nation's second largest city. Well, maybe we can do this to other cities.
You see that? See Esau, man. Hey, Psalm 64, man. The Lord should make their tongues fall upon themselves, man. This is heavy. You know? Because that's exactly what's taking place right about now. an experiment. You know? Oh shit. Bear with me, Akiyama Nakwa. A little traffic issue here. Okay, here we go. Con. Hey, as a matter of fact, I got this up right here, right? So when you go into Hegelian dialectic, right, it's a method of philosophical reasoning. You see, involved, and you know Esau's all about data. This is him so-called calling himself taking data. Okay, look, involves a process of debate or contradiction between opposing ideas, right? Theses and antitheses to arrive at a higher level of truth or understanding. All right. Let me see. Synthesis, right? It's a dynamic, evolving process, right? Where concepts are challenged and refined through engagement with their opposite, leading to a more comprehensive and nuanced perspective. So when you get the key concepts, it goes into what? A thesis, right? A start point, right? Or initial proposition that is subject to debate or challenge. So pretty much problem, right? Look at in the antithesis, right? An opposing idea or force that challenges the thesis, creating a conflict or contradiction. The reaction, okay, now check this out. The synthesis consists of what? The resolution, you see, of the contradiction between the thesis and antithesis, resulting in a new, more comprehensive understanding or concept that integrates aspects of both problem, reaction, solution. Okay? Out of order ab chaos. This is how Esau's moving. This is what we're witnessing. You see? This is what we're witnessing over there, man. In LA. And it's gonna go out through all four corners of America. Alright? You know, you Jake up here in the Northeast. Alright? Up here in this blue state. You think you safe. See, the thing where I'm at, these Babylonians up here got a real proud safe haven spirit on them. You know? So when this pops up on their front door, hey, you know they're gonna go buck wild, man. You know? You know they're gonna go buck wild, man. Hey, you ain't safe up here, man. Hey, this thing's gonna sprawl out. Because as we know, there's Jake everywhere. You see? And this is Esau. Esau's got to transition to a new system. You see? So this is him trying to clean up house and trying to bring forth his fourth industrial. You know, it's a combination of all that. Jacob's trouble is pretty much going to be the condition that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be in, man, as he initiates this. This is why we warn you, all right, to repent. See, because Jacob's trouble is at hand, man. And you cannot imagine to be hid unless you turn. Let's go ahead. Zephaniah 2 and 3, and it reads, "Seek ye the Lord Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment," man. All right, which we'll be talking to our so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, we've wrought or worked the judgment of the Lord. All right, hence the plight, all right, that we've gone through various points in history. right? Seek righteousness, seek meekness, right? Repent, right? It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord Yahweh's anger, man. You see, so you're going to have to be hid. You're not going to hide yourself. No, you're going to be hid. The Lord's going to hide you. How? Through divine intervention. Let's go here. The book of Isaiah, and that's the spirit that was in Isaiah 59. Let's go back. Isaiah 59 and 19. And it reads, so shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, okay, in the form of Esau's military. All right, similar to what you're seeing here. Okay? Similar to what you're seeing here, man. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, man. The spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him, man. Okay? And when you go, we always go into it. But for you new listeners, this is, you know, we'll go through the motions. When you get this word standard,
Strong's H 5127. Noose. Noose.
bear with me. It goes into what? To flee, right? To escape. Okay, to escape. Now, mind you, this is the standard that the Lord is going to lift. All right, for those of the elect. To take flight, right? To part, disappear. Disappear. Wait, let's jump down. Right, let's jump down here. To put to flight, drive hastily. Look it. To cause to disappear. Hide. You see, so it's the Lord, through the spirit and power of the Lord, man. He's going to cause you to disappear and hide, man. He's going to hide you. You're not going to hide yourself. You see? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to hide us, man. If we're part of that precious number, man. And foreordained, predestinated to be redeemed. You see? But it starts with the first step. And that's fearing the Lord. All right? And turning unto him. Repent. Getting yourself together. Getting yourself right, man. All right? Changing your reprobate ways. Walk in the path of righteousness to the best of your ability. And again, we understand only the elect is going to do it. Only the elect is going to do it. The rest of our people are going to refuse to. And they're going to end up falling victim to the devil that the Bible speaks of, whom is no other than Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. But I want to say this, whom sent by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You see, so ultimately, when you actually go into the nuts and bolts, hey, you just gonna fall victim to Yahweh Shai. Because as it says here, we'll close out with this. Because as we know, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai sending Esau. And to prove that point, we'll close out with this. The book of Hebrews, chapter 10, and verse 31, and it reads, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Repent, Jake. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Shalom.